Okay, so we're back in action now, and actually maintaining a fairly consistent frame rate thanks to some advice given to me by Robin on my website after I posted my last couple of videos in which I was, ranting about the dreadful frame rate I was getting. It turns out that the entire problem was due to the automatic exposure setting on the camera, which creative software gives you no option to disable yourself. Thankfully, however, you can do this in Virtual Dub, which is what I've done, and yeah, as you can see, I'm now getting a really fairly consistent 30 FPS, and I'm able to control the exposure myself, so I'm no longer blown out as I was yesterday. Anyway, last night I watched Taking Pelham 123. That's the original 70s movie, not the John Travolta remake, which is actually not as bad as it sounds, but still not particularly good. This was released in the US as a Best Buy exclusive. However, I managed to pick it up through a website called blu-raysforeveryone.com, and yeah, I watched it last night, and it is one of my favourite films of the 70s. I mean, alongside the likes of Suspiria and Deep Red, Alien, Taxi Driver. I like it a great deal, and have done ever since I first saw it about a decade ago, when I just happened to catch it on TV. It's a very kind of 70s thriller. It's kind of gritty, it's grungy, it's minimalist, and it's also very, very witty in a kind of fairly dry way. I mean, I love just about everything about it. I love Walter Matthau and his kind of perpetual hangdog expression. I love Robert Shaw and his, as the extremely softly spoken, understated villain who was replaced by John Travolta in the remake. Anyway, I love the great score by David Shire. I really like the way it's shot. I mean, I think this is something that I believe it was Mark Kermode who introduced it when I caught it on TV a decade ago, pointing out the unusual decision taken by the director Joseph Sargent and his cinematographer Owen Roisman, who also shot the likes of The French Connection and The Exorcist, to shoot it in scope in 235, which is kind of it is an odd choice given the kind of claustrophobic nature of a film that takes place largely in a subway carriage. But I mean, I actually think it works really well. It gives it kind of a very I don't quite want to say a grand appearance, but it's certainly the opposite choice from what you would expect for a film that takes place in a kind of cramped, confined environment. And yeah, I think it works really well. And I really do like the way it's shot in general. It kind of captures that kind of grungy, grubby, urban feel, and it's a picture of New York City that you don't really get to see that much anymore now that the New York Film Fund basically pays people to make the city look nice, which I'm sure it is nice, but yeah, it's I think the last film that I saw that really captured that side of New York was probably Seven. Anyway, the BD itself. I mean, this is clearly a budget release. I mean, it was it's a Best Buy exclusive. It's got no extras apart from the trailer, and it's one of those 20th Century Fox MGM releases that you're kind of almost expecting to look underwhelming. So it's actually quite a pleasant surprise that it actually looks reasonably good. I mean, it doesn't look brilliant. I mean, you can tell it's not had a great deal of money thrown at it, but it looks, shall we say, unmolested. Detail is okay. The grain's present and looks natural. One thing that slightly surprised me about it is that I don't remember it looking this dark before. I mean, the lighting is very low, and I suspect that Sargent and Roisman were going for as naturalistic a look as possible. Using the kind of the natural lighting that was available to them as much as possible. But you do find yourself sort of peering through the dark watching it, and I don't remember that from the DVD that I owned before, which was the non-anamorphic UK release. Now that's not to say that that the DVD release wasn't unnaturally brightened, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't like to make any definitive statements as to which is the intended look, if either. But yeah, I mean, I was actually quite pleased with the presentation, and it goes without saying that it's a big step up from, you know, a non-anamorphic DVD. So yeah, I would say if you're a fan of the film and if you can get your hands on it for a reasonable price, then yeah, it's worth the money. It's not brilliant, and I think for a film that I enjoy this much, I would kind of have liked to see it get slightly more lavish treatment than just a bare bones release. But yeah, it could have been a lot worse. As I say, the presentation is decent. It's a great film, and it didn't cost me too much money. So yeah, basically recommended with some caveats. See you later.